We're back now. Earlier today, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump faced off in a live debate for the first time. While policies and plans were the focus, did they communicate well enough to strengthen their campaigns? Well, right now, joining me with some of the thoughts on tonight's debate, we have John Hart. John, so good to have you.
Thank you.
And you really know your stuff because you were part of the championship debates nationally, and you're a professor at HPU.
Yes, I am.
So let's dive right into it. Politics aside, what did you think about first impressions? You always want to make a good first impression, whether it's showing warmth or confidence. Did they do that? Did they demonstrate that?
Absolutely. It's a good thing to look at. And of course, everyone was wondering about the handshake. Last couple times, there's been no handshake. And so you noticed both of them came out. Trump stood still, Harris hesitated, then Harris made the decision to go over to him, put out her hand. That almost forced him to shake the hand. Otherwise, it would have looked really bad. So I think that's kind of a little plus for her. She takes the initiative, she gets the handshake, she looks more friendly. So she's, active and he's more passive. So, she has a better first impression than he does, probably.
It kind of sets the tone,
Yes.
right, for the debate.
Yes.
Well, secondly, as a leader, you're not only going to be judged at what you say, but how you say it as well. And one of the hot topics tonight was on abortion. And I do want to play this clip for you really quickly.
Yeah.
This is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
Well, it's powerful because you just saw it right there. Talk to me about delivery, and did they get their points across?
Absolutely. Well, choice isn't obviously a very good issue for her, but you also have to take advantage of it. I don't see any knockout moment in this debate, but certainly in abortion, I think we see her at her best. She shows all the earmarks in this debate of having practiced quite a lot, whereas Trump comes across as more extemporaneous. And she's very good here. This is probably the strongest moment for her in this debate.
Well, when you look at the debate and you just refer back to what they were saying, how they were saying, talk to me about eye contact, nonverbal communication, body language.
Absolutely. We've known all the way since 1960 that it's important in a televised debate for you to remember who your audience is. And that's not the journalists, it's the people watching on television. And so ever since Jack Kennedy looked at the camera and Nixon did not, people have been very aware of who the audience is. And all tonight you see Kamala Harris always looking at the camera, talking to her audience. Trump, I'm almost surprised at how little he did that. He's very experienced at this format. He's very experienced at TV. And a lot of times he's talking to the moderator. He's looking at the moderator. He's addressing the moderator by name. It's almost like he has forgotten who he is supposed to be talking to. We are trained to pay attention when you look us in the eye, right? When you look us in the eye. Yeah, so big difference there, and therefore I score a lot of the nonverbals hugely for Harris with better delivery this evening.
So overall, and my last question is, we're running out of time, but I would love to talk to you because it's such an interesting topic. Who came out on top, and does it even matter? Well,
a lot of the times I come in and say, well, it's pretty close. This one, I think any debate coach I know would easily score this for Harris. The only thing where Trump has potential on is the economy, and instead he veers. What the rhetorical strategy he uses all evening is deflection. In other words, you ask him a question and he says, what about this? So, for example, when they bring up the lawlessness at the Capitol, and rather than answering that, he goes, well, what about the lawlessness of criminals coming over the border? That can be good in persuasion, but in argumentation, it's like running the same play every football play. Eventually, the opposition catches on and they clip you, and that's what happens this evening. Harris wins this debate. Now, does it matter? That's an interesting question. People say debates don't matter because they don't change minds, and to a certain extent that's true. But debates reinforce your position. They make you feel better about your candidate. Will a lot of people who like Trump like what they saw tonight? Yeah. Were the Harris people like they think? Yeah. The important thing is that sliver that is undecided. Where do they go? Remember, they've seen Trump. They really haven't seen Harris. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them don't like what they saw this evening.
And as you mentioned, not his first rodeo, but such an interesting way to look at things. And John, I so appreciate your time tonight. And of course, you can follow all our political coverage right here on KITV4.